Good afternoon, everyone. This is Stacy Gonzales, and I am going to be presenting my Safe School Audit for you tonight on Amos Alonzo Stagg High School, as you can see in the picture here. Stagg High School is one of 3 of our high schools in our area. It is located here. We're about 30 minutes south of the Chicagoland area. We have 3 large high schools. Stagg is right here, Sandburg is right here, and then this is Andrew High School. And you can see this gray area is where Andrew High School students attend. This blue area is where Sandburg students attend, and then this orange area is where Stagg High School students attend, and that's the school I'm going to be talking to you about. This green area is quite interesting. Several years ago, we had a boundary reshaping that went forward, and this area became known as the choice zone. So students have the option to choose between attending Stagg High School or Sandburg High School if they live in this green area. Because as you can see, the high school resides in that area, and many of the students were being transported quite far from their home. So we made that area a choice area for our schools. Stagg High School is one of our middle for enrollment. It's the middle enrollment. We have about 2,500 students in that school. We have 176 certified staff. 90% hold master's degrees or beyond, and 91% of our students graduate. And this graduation rate is actually higher, but because the way our state counts our special education, our transition students, our cooperative education students, they do not put those graduation rates in there. So this is actually a higher number of the academic students who attend Stagg High School. You can see in terms of our ACT and SAT scores, we have pretty good averages. So the last year's class, graduating class of 2017, 22 was the average, and SAT was 1022. Now, Stagg is our only Title I school, and so we do have some demographics about that. But we do try to show how even with many of the free and reduced students and our non-native English-speaking students, we're still having some high success even in our AP scores on AP tests. 30% of our students scored a 3, 20% scored 4s, and 8% of our students scored 5. We do have our credits here listed, so you can see what makes a full high school graduation credit, along with some nice areas where we've been recognized in the press. This slide just gives you a little more demographic information about our teachers compared to the district and the state. So at our school, as we said, we've got about 170 something teachers. A majority of our teachers have master's degrees. We're about a 19-to-1 student ratio, which is really nice. 94% of our teachers are retained or stay with us, which is a strong number. And as you can see, the salaries that our teachers make in this district are really quite extraordinary. These are just some data points on what our school compared to the state. So Park, you may or may not have heard of, but it's basically an assessment that we used to use. We're now using SAT. The state changed it on us, but Park was a test that they used for about 2 years with Illinois high schools, and you can see that our data far surpassed the state average of data. Over here you can see that we do have about an 18% gap in achievement between our low-income students and our students who are not a low income identified. 92% of our freshmen are on track to graduate, and like I told you before about that graduation rate. College readiness is something that our state is still in Illinois trying to work out, so we're not really there yet with what they're actually using to define the state. As far as our administrators, our administrator ratio is 140 students to every one administrator. And then for our certified staff, which is our paraprofessionals, our clerical staff, our other staff, our maintenance staff, we're at an 11-to-1 ratio. And the average salary of our administrators is approximately $115,000. I just wanted to kind of show the per pupil spending that we in our district are fortunate enough to have. You can see where our state average is over the past 5 years, and that we are able to have a greater instructional spending than the state average, as well as operational spending. And operational spending obviously is what where our capital improvements, our facilities, our maintenance. So this is the area that we are really happy and fortunate that we live in a pretty prosperous area. Our staff and our students are extremely diverse. I'm going to talk a little bit about our diversity. Our staff is not as diverse as our student population, and I'm going to talk a little bit about why that is. These are some of the new teachers that we hired last year, and here is a group of our students. You'll notice that we, just by looking at the picture of our students compared to the picture of our staff, we have some representation of what our students look like, but you can notice there is definitely a noticeable difference between our students and our staff. And I'm going to talk about that right now. So we call it English learners. So our English learners or ESL learners at STAG is our highest number of students. So this is last year's data. So we had 158 students who were non-native English speakers who were not able to pass the WIDA standards test to become a non-EL speaking student. You can also see that we had 65 students that came into STAG last year. This is significant because you can see that our primary language is Arabic. So we have a very large Middle Eastern population that has been coming to us. We've had refugees, we've had many students from Sudan, from Jordan, from many of the Middle Eastern countries. So you can see that that is our highest level of need. And finding Arabic-speaking certified teachers is almost impossible. So what we do is we offer in our course offerings, we offer different ESL endorsed teachers to work with our students. And in order to meet the requirements in Illinois, what we do is we have a biology teacher, a certified biology teacher who co-teaches with an ESL teacher to meet the needs of these students. And again, like I said, these numbers are continuing to grow. So in 2016, we did a facility audit, and this comprehensive audit was done unannounced to staff and was completed by our building manager in that building, our principal and associate principal. And the data collected fell into the following categories. Here's our just map of our building. So we just kind of went around and did this audit of every classroom and academic instructional space, both inside and outside. The checklist categories included flooring, doors if they were opened or closed, if there's any problems with the doors, lighting, ceiling tiles, HVAC that it's working correctly, checking the vents, the baseboards, the wall conditions, the doors and the hardware on the doors, the windows, the blinds, the whiteboards, the number of desks, teacher desks, student desks, any plumbing and fixture conditions, and any notes. And here's really what, as I dug through that audit, I found is that it was mostly positive in compliance with all of the safety standards given to us in that document. However, noted improvements were addressed and repairs were taken care of. There were some themes that kind of came through, which were these mismatched ceiling tiles, vandalism on mirrors in the bathrooms, not supposed to have microwaves in the classroom. There was a minor roof leak, some tape damage, and my favorite comment on room 609 was, "It's a whole different world." So today when I was there taking pictures, I tried to get to that room, but there was a class in there, so I didn't want to interrupt. So I want to show you some pictures of what our facilities look like. When you come to enter our building, there is an intercom that you must buzz in to get into the building, and we have a security officer who sits right at the front and checks you in, takes your ID, and uses a system called Raptorware to ensure the individual entering the building is not on any sort of Illinois sex offender registry list or any other background check. We also have all around the building defibrillators and bleeding control kits. So those are placed in every hallway. Last year, this summer, we did a major update to the swimming pool area where we drained the entire pool, and you can see how clear these lines are in the swimming pool area because that was all redone and repainted along with all of the tile work along the edges, which you could kind of see here in the picture. What's really cool about our swimming pool areas up here is bleachers where all of our fans can sit and watch our games. We currently have just finished up another project, which is on one of our softball fields, and creating 2 new dugouts on each side. So here you can see where that dugout is placed, but really how nicely done this is. We just did a major improvement project there. We also make sure that in every area of our building we're ADA compliant. So whenever you see any place that has stairs, there's also a ramp access space as well. So we really are compliant there. We also have surveillance cameras located both inside and outside the facility. So in the event that there is ever a need to check those surveillance cameras, we do so. I did find 2 areas, as I was kind of doing a little walkthrough, that could be unsafe. So this was actually in a staff bathroom, a box of matches. So I thought I would take a picture of that to include here. Then the other thing is this soft seating in the media center is something that we really have been talking about addressing. One of the areas that I personally oversee in each building is the media center. So we're really trying to, now that we are going to a fully implemented one-to-one environment, we really want to make sure that we have enough seating for kids in our library spaces. So our approval process for capital improvement, which is anything that's over $25,000, must go through an RFP, which is a request for proposals. So those are put together by our Director of Buildings and Grounds, maybe in conjunction with the building manager. And that is approved then by the superintendent, who then brings it to the Board of Education to approve. Transportation is quite tricky. I'm going to show you a map. We do have staff parking, student parking, bus parking with safety drills. We do outsource our buses, and so we do have an in-house transportation coordinator. So you can see here, this is a very busy street. We have to be very careful getting our buses in here. And this church actually charges our students $300 to park there, where if they want to park with us, it's only $50. So Thank you for watching this video on Amos